Enable camera. What's up, folks? We'll start this in just a little bit. Sharing this around. All right, folks. With some music there from Mr. Kitty. I'm going to go ahead and just fade that out. Well, folks, this is Kenny with Just the Right Angle coming at you with a news update on what's going on. You could follow me at Just the Right Angle on Rumble, where I talk about issues that affect you. Talk about something that's kind of more or less irritated me. Well, of course, March 3rd, we had our elections. We had our primary elections. And as many people have pointed out, a lot of people that were supposed to win lost. There was also another incident that occurred, and it involves the Democrat winning a House seat. Now, this is a post in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I won't read the whole thing. Sanders backed candidates lose 3 Arkansas Senate primaries, and that's them right there. These two were trying to actually unseat current senators, and this one was a current senator who got kicked out, and they got kicked out pretty bad. And it was mainly over the prison. I'm not going to read the whole article. This is by Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I will post the article in chat so that you all can see it. By the way, if you're in chat, feel free to say hello, add something else you want to talk about. South Arkansas Reckoning has a story about a supposed election issues going on in Grant County, but that's another topic. So we have this story here where 3 Sanders-backed candidates got defeated, and then we have in Twitter. I'll post a little bit of this. I'll go ahead and show this guy's comments.
We have some fantastic news tonight out of Arkansas, where Alex Holiday has flipped a state house seat there. This district was Harris +1 in 2024, so it's a 26-point overperformance for Democrats. As elections expert Zach Danini says here, it's a continuation of strong special election performances for Democrats, and it's their 3rd state ledge pickup in as many months. Again, that 26-point overperformance.
So this guy's really happy. He is, I guess, I don't know. This is posted by Susie Rizzo. I don't know if this is Zachary Donini himself or Vote Hub. I can't tell who this guy actually is, but.
So while a lot of the attention tonight will be placed on Texas, understandably, this was a massive win for Democrats in Arkansas, a place where they have not traditionally been competitive. And again, Alex Holiday here with a 26-point overperformance. Congratulations to Alex Holloway and Arkansas Democrats for their fantastic win tonight. And another notch in the belt for Democrats who are hoping to retake the House and Senate come this November.
Okay, that's not going to happen here, and it's certainly not going to happen on a national level. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. If you just scroll up here, it shows more about the Alex Holloway win. Let me see if I can find it. To put in perspective, folks, the Alex Holloway win over Bo Renshaw and Arkansas House District 70, which is North Little Rock, which, by the way, as the guy himself stated, was 1% for Harris, which means the Democrat stronghold, by the way, because Kamala Harris barely won any county at all, any precinct or area. But here you go. According to Grok, the balance is now 80 Republicans and 20 Democrats for a 100 seat legislature. And then this is about the same way they are in the Senate, okay? So I don't know if this guy was thinking Arkansas, but in Arkansas, it ain't going to happen, buddy. You're not going to take the legislature back for Democrats. And a lot of people are taking these two stories together and going, oh, the Democrats are going to get some kind of surge and they're going to come back. No, it's not going to happen. I'll explain a little bit of what happened. Here's another Democrat. Now, here's another guy who pretends to be a nonpartisan named Rex Nelson, but he's actually a Democrat. But he, again, markets himself as he calls this fall of the MAGA men, referring to these three state senator candidates who lost in the Republican primary. These are not the MAGA men. They only pretended to be MAGA men to try to win the election, and people saw through it. There was a time years ago when people would pretend to be Tea Party, back when the Tea Party came out, and they would get enough of the Republican vote to win. And then there was a later time when the Tea Party kind of floundered out, and then Trump went down the escalator. At first, a lot of these Republicans in Arkansas, particularly, were against Trump. Some of them were for Ted Cruz. Some of them were for somebody else. Asa Hutchinson, when he was governor of Arkansas and running against Jan Morgan, went out and got a Trump endorsement. Bozeman did as well when they were having primary elections. But particularly Asa Hutchinson was vehemently against Trump later on. Okay. The real conservatives who don't even, not necessarily pro-Trump, but the people who want lower taxes, more gun rights, our sovereignty act, so our police don't get involved with ATF in terms of, and we don't have another Malinowski moment. Those people that really want reform, they won this past election. They're the ones that won. The pretend MAGA people were the ones who lost. And that's what people need to understand. And that's what Rex Nelson and folks like him are not figuring out. This is Republican Patriots of Arkansas. It's a group started in part to make the Republican Party of Arkansas much more conservative and kick out the consultant class who lost. Wayne Long and Cameron Cooper, these are state representatives who were also targeted by Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Chris Caldwell and Chase Duggar and the other consulting class. They won. Mark Nichols is another one who won. Brian Norris is headed into a runoff. And folks, I'm not even endorsing candidates. I'm just telling you the way things are. But again, the main point I want to get across, is just why I titled this, is that Democrats are not taking over Arkansas. I'll tell you who really lost in the election that Rex Nelson either probably doesn't know or doesn't want to talk about, and it's the consultant class. And I have talked about these clowns before. I have the perfect icon to show who they are. Well, here's one icon. If you remember the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, you remember that there was a guy there. Well, most people don't know the movie, but you should watch that movie. It's this guy right here with the glasses, and show him here. His name's Taylor. And there he is talking to Mr. Smith, played by Jimmy Stewart. I don't know who the guy who plays Taylor, but this guy right here with the glasses, he turns out to be the bad guy. And for those who don't know, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Mr. Smith, he has this simple idea. He wants to create a camp for boys so they don't get in trouble and go basically like the Boy Scouts. And his plan happens to interrupt a dam project that Mr. Taylor wants. So here's Mr. Taylor again. He's bullying the other U.S. senator in the unnamed state to basically betray and turn on Mr. Smith and basically try to kick him out of the United States Senate. And he bullies and harasses the guy. And at first, the other senator agrees and starts to slander Mr. Smith, tries to get him expelled from Congress, or I'm sorry, the United States House of Representatives. Later on, he develops a conscience and he just can't stand it anymore. There's also a scene where this Taylor guy basically shuts down all the media and tries to, so that they don't know when Mr. Smith does his famous filibuster. But these bunch of kids who Mr. Smith took care of when he was a Boy Scout, they get their own news agency and they start telling people what's happened. And in the end, it kind of shows Mr. Smith collapsing. But by the time he does, the other senators develop a conscience and said this is all a scam. So, this kind of garbage where we had these consultant types kicking people, running things from behind the scenes, we've had to deal with it before. This was our modern Taylor here in the RNC. It was Ronna McDaniel. And one of the great things that the late Charlie Kirk did, among many other things, was to kick out and remove folks like Ronna McDaniel. And folks, people like me and others fought against the consultant class here in Arkansas, and we dealt them a blow in the last election. Now, here's who we're dealing with now. It's Chris Caldwell. Now, I don't know if you can see all this. This is some of these clients. This is a political consultant who lost March 3rd, not MAGA. And that's the important distinction you need to figure out. MAGA was never really involved. There was just a couple of politicians who used MAGA so they could get elected, so they could take orders from this guy and his clients and run the Republican Party. Now, by the way, I mentioned another consultant named Chase Duggar. You remember that race in District 70 I talked about earlier? He was supposed to be the campaign manager for that. Yeah, he lost that race. And of course, another reason why that area was lost to Democrat is because Sarah Huckabee Sanders was so busy focusing on these primary elections here, where millions of dollars were pumped into these races. Let me do a screen share. And that all the focus was then on these races, that there was no effort to protect that Republican seat in House District 70, which was, again, a Democrat stronghold. But there were, I don't know if it stays here, how many millions of dollars were put into these races. But again, Jeremy Woolridge defeated, I believe he defeated Blake Johnson. Of course, the main issue was the prison, but there's some other stuff too. Freedom of Information Act, whether or not we should just nibble at the income tax and toot our horn or actually get rid of it. How much order should we take from organizations like the Arkansas Municipal League and the Arkansas County Associations and all these other fake, useless organizations that have kept Arkansas in the back for decades? That used to be in power when the Democrats were in power, and when the Republicans took power, all they did was put their consultant types in charge, and now you have these crooked consultants that are in positions of power within the Republican Party. So I doubt Chase Duggar is going to get punished for his losing the Arkansas District 70 area, and he's probably, for the moment, still going to be on the Republican Party's Rules Committee. I don't know if you can see this because unfortunately, this thing, it does not show. No, wait, that's something else. I think this one's it right here. Y'all chime in if there's something you want to look at, but So here he is in the 2nd district. There's Chase Duggar there. Let me see if I can see the rules committee. My Canvas studio is a little bit light on display. Nope, that's not it either. Anyway, he is, last time I checked, Chase Duggar, the guy who, again, lost the election and is probably going to get a massive paycheck for doing so in District 70, that was formerly held by Carlton Wing, is probably going to get several $1,000s despite botching that campaign. Now, I've seen other posts. I haven't seen exactly how much dollars have been spent. I've heard it's been upwards of $2 million. And let me see. I think actually Jimmy Cavan might have posted about the dollar amount. Also, there was this Secretary of State's race where there was an effort to put Kim Hammer as Secretary of State. There was another person named Kathy Harrison Hardin who had stated that she was in favor of paper ballots. And then there was Brian Norris who led the effort to fight for paper ballots. And then Kim Hammer, who was against paper ballots. And basically, Kim Hammer was outvoted. It was basically a three-way race with Brian Norris winning. Here we go. Here we go. Now, this isn't confirmed, but this is from Arkansas First News. Campaign experts estimate as much as $2 million was spent on those efforts. And those efforts are referring to these 2 Senate races. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was that. And that's just 2 of them mentioned here in this article by Arkansas First News. That's the kind of money, and they lost. And again, that's the kind of money that you're dealing with here. Okay, sorry if I am a little... Sorry if I bounce around just a little bit. I am still getting used to this new... Rumble has a brand new theme here. I'm not doing an ad for them. I might later on, but just to let you know, Rumble is the great alternative to YouTube. With it, you can get videos put out. You don't get shadow banned. And so I urge people, if you don't have a Rumble account, set one up. Even if you don't do videos, it can be a way to comment. It can be a way to support. And you get news that you won't get anywhere else. Because there are a few people that will look at what happened and go, oh, the Democrats are winning. The Democrats are winning. And you'll have people that actually believe Rex Nelson and think that, oh, the Democrats are going to win. No, that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Democrats are not taking over. This was a fluke election. It was already a Democrat stronghold. A lot of Republicans were too busy dealing with other races. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is too busy at war with conservatives. And so those are the reasons why. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and turn off now. Y'all follow me at just the right angle. Remember, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. That's a little section from Proverbs. But anyway, if y'all think of anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. I'll try to do broadcasts. I'm not quite to where I can do a regular broadcast time and day yet, but I'm trying to get to where I can be a regular. Once I get a regular time set down, I've got a new job. I can try and get that. There is a runoff election March 31st. The big race statewide will be against Brian Norris versus Kim Hammer. There should be some what we call forums regarding that. In some of those forums, you'll have chances to ask questions. There's also a lot of county races, county judges. I think there is a state rep race as well. And these are important, and a few people could make the difference in them because, of course, the turnout is a lot lower. So anyway, follow me at Just the Right Angle, where I'll give more updates and things that matter to you. Other than that, let me go ahead and actually let me do a quick commercial if I can. I have some guests here, but I'm going to go ahead and do an ad for Rumble right now. Wait a minute. I think it has to be on with 10 people for a little bit. Yeah, it kind of cuts out of me. Anyway, I want to get a regular time. I may do some ads for other folks. But yeah, follow me for updates. Hit that notification button. Follow me at Twitter, just the right angle. Keep Arkansas Legal. Keep AR Legal on Twitter X. Keep Arkansas Legal and Gab, YouTube, MeWe, and Yahoo Mail. Other than that, you all have a great day.